Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtiwada. In this video, we will learn about Next.js folder structure and how this Next.js helps us in giving a boilerplate code and what are the different files will be created by our single command which we have used in our previous video to set up the project. All this we'll discuss in this video. Let me go into another slide. So here we can see all these files and the folders has been created by Next.js command, that is create next app command. So this helps us to create all these files and we'll see each and every file and each and every folder what we are using in our application. Let me go into the Visual Studio Code. I have opened all this student management in my Visual Studio Code and we can use this from now. So now we have four folders and we have around seven files, that is out of our inner files. That means these all are at the global level of this project. So now let's talk about these files. First thing is package.json. Package.json is used to hold all the packages, all the dependencies which are needed and required for our application. And by using this particular package.json, we can run our scripts. We can make use of dependencies and also dev dependencies. If you see, we are using Next.js 14.2.4 and we have the dependencies of React like 18 and we have something like a scripts. So when we run any of the command, we have that should be present on the script. Based on the script, the remaining node modules or remaining files which are related to that scripts will be running. So that is usage of package.json. Whenever we run in node modules, it will make hold of all the packages in a complete log file so that it is something like a backup of your package.json with the previous version whatever installed for the first time. Sometimes your node modules may not get updated at that particular time. You have to remove this package log.json and do one more installation of this dependencies. And now there is something called as next.config.mjs. So this is for the configuration of all your Next.js set of things. So whatever the configurations you want for this Next.js, you can do over here. And there is something called as JS config. This is used for JavaScript configuration. And if you are using a TS, you will have the TS configuration. And let's go with the git ignore. Git ignore is something like whenever you want to ignore something while pushing into the code base, such things can be configured over here. For example, in this case, I don't want .next file folder to push into the GitHub node modules. No need to push into the GitHub. So that's why they are grayed out and that are already configured in this git ignore. And let's talk about ESLint TRS. So whatever the linting configurations you want, you can do in this particular JSON file. Let's come up with folders. So whenever you run a dev command or production command or a build command, then this .next folder will be created along with the cache stuff, along with the server side rendering code and static assets, and also it will create all our types. And whatever the required stuff from this application that will be present in this .next folder. So that is nothing but your build folder. So now let me go into the node modules. Node modules are something like whatever the dev dependencies, whatever the dependencies you have in your package JSON, that will be installed in a folder called as node. And let's talk about the public folder. This public folder is mainly used to configure assets. That means which are raw materials. So you don't need to write any of the code. You don't need to have any of the logics. Then you can use this public folder. Like you have a asset stuff like images or files which you need to directly store, the such things you can store in this public folder. There is one more folder called as source folder, and this is where we will do all our coding stuff. And whatever the Next.js code is there, we will be doing inside this source. And as we selected app router, we got an app folder inside this, and this app folder will be helpful for our routing purpose. So here the naming convention is very important as I mentioned in the first introductory video. So here we have page.js, layout.js, global.css and page module.css and a fav icon. So we can use each and everything based on our requirement. So we have page.js. We cannot rename that page.js to another name. Why? Because page.js is a reserved file name for Next.js. Layout.js, it is also a reserved file name for Next.js. So we should not use these particular names in our application whenever we are creating any files. So we have to use page.js for a specific reason. We have to use layout.js for a specific reason, and we have to use fav icon for a specific reason. So these all are configured in our Next.js basic boilerplate code, so we should not override that. I'll show you something about this page.js, layout.js in the upcoming videos. For now, we are concentrating only on the folder structure. And this page.js is the responsible person which is inside the app folder, which helps us to render the most root component of our Next.js. So this is our root component, and you can see this is the home component, and you have all this code which you are seeing in your browser. Let me open my terminal and run npm run dev and hit enter. So once you trigger this, it will run the application in localhost 3000, and let me go into the localhost 3000. Let me refresh first time, and now you can see it is trying to compile all the code and it is getting the data. And as I mentioned, this is a server side rendering, so that's why you are seeing the logs on the Next.js console, not on the browser. So let me go into the inspect, and you can see in the console you don't have anything, and whatever we are rendering here, it is a server side code. And what is the benefit of using a server side code? Let's see that. That's how we are able to run our application, and this is the code whatever you are seeing over here. So what we'll do is just I'll remove all this code, or let me go and remove this description part. Whatever we have, I'll just remove this part from our code, and I'll make it as h1 hello world and save this. Now you can see hello world is displayed over here. So this is how you can use your Next.js, and this is our root component. That's how it is showing on the UI. So it is having a live reload as well. Once I change the code, once I save it, no need to refresh your browser. It automatically refreshes, and it is called as a hot module reload. So it will be refreshing based on your changes. So no need to refresh as well. So this is how each and every file has their own preferences and definitions. So we have to use properly for our applications. So I'll go more in deeper about this page.js, layout.js in the upcoming videos. That's it for this video. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.